Hey everyone, I'm Army Gaming. Welcome back to my channel, and check this out. The library books have finally been updated. Good Legions and Evil Legions, more pages have been added to the books, and we have two new books, Superheroes and Families. And I haven't seen which particular monsters have been added to the books. I have seen glimpses here and there about people being confused as to why a certain monster is in a certain book, and so I thought it'd be a really fun idea to give you guys my first impression, my first thoughts of the monsters in the books. And so let's not waste any time, let's start things off with Good Legions. And so this book previously only had 3 pages, and now we have a 4th page and a 5th page. And so let's take a look at the 4th page and see what new monsters await us. Kulkan, Deadwolf, White Pandoff, Lamu, Brynhilda, Aron, Pixelion, and Ogma. Alright, so let's take a look at Kulkan first. Kulkan was rejected by other reptiles because of his wings. That is so sad. To prove he was better than all of them, he flew up to the sun and dived into the sea, causing an earthquake. An earthquake doesn't seem that good to me. Now all reptiles fear him, and every single reptile in the game is in fear of him. Kulkan is supposed to be Good Legion. Based on just the description, he was rejected, which is sad, I understand, but it looked like he went the vengeance route, flew up really high, dived into the sea, created a massive earthquake that made every single reptile monster fear him. I don't know if I can necessarily say he's a good monster, whether he's worth being in Good Legion. Really interesting, let me know your guys' thoughts. Let's take a look at Deadwolf. Deadwolf was a cowboy before his love for easy gold turned him into a life of crime. Okay, a life of crime, that doesn't seem so promising. Now he robs trains and ranches at night and gambles during the daytime. So this monster is now robbing people, robbing other monsters I guess, trains and ranches at night, and that money he uses, that money that he robs, that gold that he robs, he's probably robbing it from all of you guys. He's just gambling away during the daytime. What the heck, that does not seem like a very good monster to me. If he was like robbing it, if he would have stolen and given to the poor, I could see that happening, but he's robbing and gambling. Deadwolf is another monster in the Good Legions, which doesn't make too much sense. Let's take a look at White Pandoff. After an epic battle against darkness, Pandoff was reborn as White Pandoff, the mightiest magician in the Monster Legends universe. Yes, this is the definition of good, the definition of holiness. He was in an epic battle with darkness. He lost his life in that epic battle and he was reborn as White Pandoff. This is definitely a Good Legions monster. So far 1 and 3 have fit the description of Good Legions. Let's take a look at Lamu. She exists on a higher spiritual level, so she seems a bit disconnected from reality, but the truth is that her wisdom has been very helpful to other monsters in times of trouble. I think that says enough. Very helpful to other monsters in times of trouble. She is a monster that's willing to go above and beyond to help others, definitely fitting of the Good Legion category. Next, let's take a look at Brynhilda. Viking Queen Brynhilda was betrayed by the commander of her army at the time, Spherenus. I guess we know who's going to be in the Evil Legion. As part of his plan to rule the world, he trapped Brynhilda in a cage in the ocean, but during captivity she learned ancient water magic. Now she's back and stronger than ever. So for this monster, I wouldn't necessarily say she fits in the Good Legion. All we know from her info is that she was betrayed by another monster. So if anything, that just tells us that Spherenus is a bad monster, and I guess Brynhilda would be a good monster, but we really don't know much information. So whether or not she fits in this category, I'll leave it up to you guys. Next up is Aron. He is a warrior of light devoted to protecting the defenseless and the innocent. Yes, this monster is the perfect incarnation of the Good Legion. He protects those that can't defend themselves and the innocents. Next up is Pixelion, who in my opinion is just an awkward monster to put in Good Legions. Error 415, unsupported media type, blah blah blah. Welcome him to your island, he will fight all villains with honor. So I guess he's he's a knight. I just see a bunch of pixels, but he's an honorable knight. So I guess he fits the description of Good Legion. And Ogma, who I don't even think is worth mentioning, this monster is definitely Good Legion material. He's a godlike light warrior capable of leading his team to victory single-handedly. Just looking at him design-wise, he is the definition of Good Legion. And so that's page 4 of Good Legions. Kulkan and Deadwolf, I'm a little confused as to why they're in this book. It doesn't make too much sense. Brynhilda also, but she's kind of a neutral monster. But yeah, as for the other monsters, they definitely fit the Good Legion description. Moving on to page 5, we have Shakti, Virtue. Just name alone, Virtue sounds like he would be here. Brontis, Chin, Apex, General Shannara, also are the Brave, and Lathe. And so let's start off by looking at Shakti. Shakti is also known as the Preserver. He appears whenever an innocent monster is in danger. It is said that Shakti has sworn to defeat all dark monsters, and when he does, he will leave this world riding a dark horse. Nice, so this monster is also really fitting of the Good Legions category. He appears to protect innocent monsters in danger. He has sworn to defeat all the dark monsters. I don't know if that means all the dark element based monsters, because that's not the nicest thing. There's some good dark monsters out there, or if it meant all evil monsters. Nonetheless, a monster fitting of the Good Legions category. Let's take a look at Virtue. Virtue has the might and fortitude to cause ripples across the galaxy, but it's his kindness that makes him special. He prefers to stand at the celestial gates not as a warrior but as a watchful guardian. What a nice monster, definitely fitting of the Good Legions category. Next up is Bronzes, who in my opinion, just design wise, I wouldn't think this monster is a Good Legions monster, but let's see what his info has to say. Well, he thinks he's special and superior for being the only three-eyed Cyclops. Three-eyed Cyclops? That doesn't make sense. The thing is that, at least in his case, more eyes doesn't mean more brains. So he's not the smartest monster, and he kind of has this ego to him. He is a brute with uncontrollable physical strength. Last time I checked, being a brute isn't a good thing, so I don't know if this monster is exactly fitting of the Good Legions category. Let's take a look at Qin. Qin remained loyal to his duty of protecting the grave of the first emperor of China for centuries, but finally this terracotta warrior has been freed to fight again, and he is thirsty for war. That last part, thirsty for war, that kinda makes him look like a blood-vicious monster, and look at that face, look at those eyes, dark, evil, purple eyes. I don't know if this monster is also fitting of the Good Legions category. Then again though, he was loyal and protecting the grave of the first emperor of China, but who knows, stuff changes when you're resurrected from the dead. Apex is up next. Let's see if this monster is fitting of the Good Legions category. This gorilla is one of the most spectacular cases of animals reworked into monsters. He was genetically modified and put into a high-performance war center, and now he's a warrior ready to fight any war inside the dense jungle. So this monster just seems to be like a fighter, not necessarily Good Legions category. He just likes to fight. He was genetically modified to fight, so not necessarily fitting. General Shannara, on the other hand, let's see what we have to say about her. General Shannara belongs to a parallel dimension that only exists for wizards. That's a pretty cool description already. But she has come to these legendary lands to be a warrior and lead magic troops, Meta Warriors Dreader. So once again, no indication whether she's good or bad. She just seems to be a fighter leading the magic monsters to victory. Let's take a look at the VIP, also the Brave. He's one of the bravest, most loyal monsters you'll ever meet. He is an experienced soldier with hundreds of battles behind him, but that doesn't make him a cold killer. He's always up for a long cozy hug. A loyal monster that loves to give long cozy hugs, he's definitely Good Legions material to me. Next up is Laith. When Laith watches a battle from his throne in the arena, he doesn't care about the monster's talent or strength, he just wants to witness a good show, and if he doesn't get one, let's just say that his lions get fed. I realize that this monster is an emperor, but any monster that is willing to feed other monsters to his lions just because they didn't put a good show for him, I don't know if this makes him a Good Legion material. So page 5 has various examples of monsters that don't necessarily belong in my opinion. They were just kind of thrown in there, it seems. I don't know, just looking at Bronzes and Qin, they just don't look Good Legion material, but I mean, I don't know, the developers decided these monsters were Good Legions, so we have to take their word for it as they are the developers of the game and that's what they had intended. And so that was a pretty fun first look at Good Legions. Let's also take a look at Evil Legions. So like Good Legions, there was originally only 3 pages, and now we have pages 4, 5, and 6, so a lot more monsters got added into Evil Legions, which kind of says something, that there's more evil monsters than good monsters in the game. Anyways, let's look at page 4 and see who's up. Ooh, and just looking at these monsters' faces, that does not look good. They do look kind of evil. We have the Ringer, TAIGA. I did not know TAIGA was evil. To me, he was a good monster, so I hope this doesn't change my perspective too much. Goldfield, Fenrir, Jabeline, MMO, Nishan's Pet, and Nexor. Let's start off with the Ringer. Ding dong, your time has come. Ding dong, you've been warned. Ding dong, the Ringer is here. Ding dong, now he'll disappear. That is basically a threat saying he is gonna kill you. Definitely Evil Legion material. TAIGA, why is TAIGA on here? This experienced hunter uses weapons to kill more effectively. Okay, killing, maybe that's why. But he can get the job done with his bare claws. And he doesn't even need weapons, he can use his bare claws. In spite of his strength and abilities, he only hunts to survive and feed his family. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why is this monster in Evil Legions? There has to be some sort of mistake. It says right there, yes, he can kill, he's experienced hunter, but the only time he ever hunts is to survive and feed his family. So he doesn't hunt for fun, he's not like Laith, who feeds monsters to lions or anything. He only hunts and kills to feed his family and for him to survive. His heart is filled with kindness. This monster does not belong in Evil Legions, he belongs in Good Legions. And let's take a look at Goldfield. Goldfield, Goldfield, Goldfield. Magic can neither be created nor destroyed. Ah, the first law of magic dynamics, but can change form, and Goldfield is the pure form of magic. Be careful with his tricks because they hurt. I guess this monster isn't necessarily good nor bad, he just honestly seems kind of like a neutral monster. He's basically magic itself, magic incarnate if you will. So, I don't know, he's neutral to me. Next up is Fenrir. He looks vicious, but I think he was just like a gladiator, right? Being the son of a demonic god. Okay, demonic god, things aren't looking good for Fenrir. And a giantess, Fenrir is feared by everyone. Being feared by everyone is not a good thing. Maybe he is evil. Even the Norse deities, even the gods fear him, who know nothing good can come from this terribly strong creature. Okay, Fenrir definitely feeding of evil legions. Sorry bud, you are bad. Next up is Javelin. Javelin has the intelligence and tactics of a Greek god and the agility of the best athlete, so it's just a really powerful monster. Dodging her spear isn't something you can easily do because it is directed by Ares, the god of war. So this monster, once again, we don't really have a good inclination whether she's good or bad. She's just really talented apparently, but that doesn't make her evil, so I don't know if she fits the Evil Legion's book. Next up is MMO Monster. This dark warrior of the internet shows his battles to the world for a living. The more people watch his conquest, the stronger he becomes. He has but one weakness. If you give him an unlike, it will be like a fatal blow for him. And so even though this monster is a dark warrior, I wouldn't necessarily say he fits as an Evil Legion monster. There's other monsters that are way bad, like being the son of a demonic god, so I don't even know if MMO Monster would fit in here. Next up is Nexor, and if Nexor is on here, I imagine that his brother Roxin is also going to be in the Evil Legions, and him along with his brother Roxin, they both lead a gang of looters in the post-apocalyptic era. Yeah, he's definitely bad. Looting is no good, especially in the post-apocalyptic era where people are just trying to survive, those that remain anyways. He enjoys experimenting with trash and electricity when he builds his weapons, which usually turn out to be quite unsafe, not only for his enemies but also for him. So he's self-damaging with enemies, but leading a gang of looters, I would say he's not necessarily evil, but he's not necessarily good. So if anything, there should be like a bad legions. And so that concludes page 4. Let's move on over to page 5. And here we have the VIP monster Nox the Condemned, Palax, Razul, Ultrabot, Zyla the Faithful, Krampus, General Darmith, and ML1 Yamato. I'm kinda surprised that General Darmith is on here. I never pictured him being a bad monster. Zyla the Faithful, I didn't picture her being a bad monster. Which reminds me, if Zyla's on here, Voltic I think should be on here because didn't he betray his best friend Tessidae? So maybe that counts as Evil Legion. If monsters like TAIGA can get into Evil Legion, then definitely Voltic should get into Evil Legion. But anyways, let's start off by looking at Nox the Condemned. The captain of the army of the soulless chooses his victims carefully, seals their souls with a quick swing of his scythe, and condemns them to a life of emptiness. So I say this monster is definitely fitting of Evil Legions. He is kind of like Death himself, so you can argue that Death is an inevitable thing and he should just be neutral because he's not necessarily bad, he's just Death. But at the same time, he definitely fits the Evil Legion book, so I'm not going to argue there. Let's move on over to Palax. So he's the first case of alien with rabies. He's kept in a high security facility for years, but his strength is such that he has broken out, infecting all the guards in his path. Be extremely careful with him. So even though he looks like a vicious monster, just look at that monster design, look at that growl he's doing. I wouldn't say he's necessarily bad. He actually just seems like an unfortunate case, an alien with rabies, how sad. And they kept him locked up, and he finally got away because he got strong. He infected guards within his path. I don't know if that's purposeful or incidentally, most likely purposefully. Be extremely careful with him. Yeah, you know what, I guess I'll say that cuts it. Let's take a look at Razul. The time for goodbye has come, your soul is ready. Embrace your destiny, you are dead already. After today, you'll be just a skull, accept your fate, come to Razul. And so once again, I'm not sure what to say. This monster once again seems kind of like a Grim Reaper, and death is neither good nor bad, it's just an inevitable thing. But I guess just based on the description, maybe he's not Death himself, maybe he's just choosing people to kill, and for that reason I can see why he's in the Evil Legion. And next up is Ultrabots. Ultrabot. Evil robots usually work for human villains, but this one is his own boss. He's the real, the authentic, the ultimate robot supervillain. So Ultrabot is a supervillain. And of course supervillains are evil, that makes totally sense. Ultrabot definitely deserves to be here. Let's take a look at Zyla the Faithful. Zyla used to be innocent. Okay, that's not good. She believed in a world of love and happiness, but as she grew up, she learned she needed to fight her way through the world. Now she's an experienced warrior, but she still believes she'll be able to find happiness someday. Someone who still believes that they can find happiness someday doesn't seem like a bad person to me. Someone who used to be innocent and believed in a world of love and happiness, and just because they grew up and learned that the world wasn't so kind and she had to learn to fight, that doesn't make her bad, that just makes her experienced with combat. And she believes she can find happiness. I personally wouldn't say she's Evil Legion material, so I'm not completely sure why Zyla's there. Let's take a look at Krampus. It is known that Santa Claus brings presents to good monsters, but what happens to the bad ones? It is not Santa Claus but Krampus who pays them a visit, and not a very pleasant one. Does this monster fit Evil Legion material? He's technically only visiting bad monsters, so if you're a good monster, you'll never get a visit from Krampus. Does Krampus really deserve to be labeled an Evil Legion monster? I don't know, you decide. And next up is General Darmith, who I'm really curious about. What is his description? Why is he evil? The General of Fire Troops is ruthless. Okay, that's not good. There's nothing he likes more than the smell of blood. Okay, I can see why he's evil. So have General Dartmouth on your side or prepare to bleed. Definitely. Well, I mean, you can argue that he's a warrior, he likes combat, he likes fighting, but there's nothing he likes more than the smell of blood. I can kind of see where they were going with this. Let's take a look at ML1 Yamato, who, if I'm not mistaken, is just a robot, right? Greetings, Master. I am Monster Legend Model 1. I am here to serve you. If you want me to come, say Yamato. If you want me to kill, choose an attack. For more information, read my instruction manual. So he's just a robot. How could a robot be good or bad? It would have to be up to the creator or whoever's in control of him. So I would say Yamato's just stagnant, just neutral. I'm not sure why he's an evil legion. He's just a robot, man. I know the description says, if you want me to kill, choose an attack. Well, what if you don't want him to kill? What if you want him to recharge? What if you want him to give himself a shield? I don't know. I don't see this monster as an evil legion monster. But anyways, that was page 5. Really interesting. Some monsters, I'm really confused as to why they're there. Still, the number one most confusing is TAIGA. TAIGA is clearly a good monster. But anyways, let's take a look at the final page, page 6. What the heck? We have Scar, Hydroke, and Kai. And over here we have Zala and Nox. That is 5 VIP monsters. Why is there 5 VIP monsters and evil legions? Social Point basically sold us evil monsters. They didn't sell us good monsters except for Osar, who is arguably not the best, but they sold us a bunch of evil monsters. What the heck? But anyways, there's Holter's Pet, Raldbog, Roxin, that makes sense, Harusami, Minotaurus, Scar, Hydrock, Kai. Kai the Eradicator I thought was a good guy, so I can't wait to see his description. But for now, let's take a look at Holter's Pets. Holter's Pet, what do you have? Holter took a nice fluffy creature and turned him into a lethal monster. After giving him a metal vest and a giant crossbow, he sent him to battle. That was the beginning of this legendary warrior. So that honestly doesn't seem that bad to me. If anything, Holter is the evil monster because he took his nice fluffy creature and made him into a lethal monster. He made his nice loving pet into a monster, into a fighter. So if anything, General Holter should be here, not his pets. And next up is Raldbog. Let's see this monster. He's a sinister demon armed with fiery blades. He used to work for a Dark Lord, torturing prisoners for him, but now he is looking for a new master. Could that be you? Okay, this definitely qualifies. He's a sinister demon, used to work for a Dark Lord. I wonder who it was. He would torture prisoners. He's definitely Evil Legion's material. Roxin I'm not going to go over because he's just like his brother. He's somewhat arguably Evil Legion material. Harusami, I thought he was somewhat good even though he doesn't look that good. Harusami was the best samurai in ancient Japan. He was so skillful that the Lord of Darkness recruited him for his army. Who is this Lord of Darkness? Who is it? Is it maybe Barbatos? Anyways, when the Lord of Clarity found out, he had Harusami killed for betrayal. So basically Harusami was just a really good samurai. The Lord of Darkness is the one that resurrected him, and I guess made him evil. The Lord of Clarity finds out and kills him because I guess he betrayed the good side, and now he's back and wants his revenge. So I guess yes, it does make him as an evil monster because now he wants his revenge on the Lord of Clarity. And anyways, next up is Minotaurus. Let's see this monster. The myth lies. Theseus didn't kill the Minotaur, it was the other way around. The Greek gods were so embarrassed about their hero that they hid this beast in a cave. 3,000 years later, Minotaurus has escaped. And because he killed a monster, I guess I can see why he's Evil Legion material. Moving on to the VIP monsters who I'm really curious about, Scar the Outcast. Scar is an outlaw. He spent his entire life alone. That's just sad again. But he doesn't need anyone else. It is a known fact that in the monster universe, that Scar can defeat a whole army on his own. All he needs is his axes. So this lovable little creature right here apparently is an outlaw. Does that make him Evil Legion material? I would say no. He's just mistroubled youth if anything. Let's take a look at Hydrock the Forgotten. He was the commander of the most important undersea army for 800 years. Time passed and his army disappeared, but this honorable warrior remains. He's an honorable warrior, still guarding the depth of the ocean. He's protecting the ocean. How is this monster evil? It doesn't make sense. He should be a good monster. He's protecting the ocean. And he was the commander of the most important army for 800 years. I don't know. I think Hydrock should be good. I somewhat see the argument for Scar. Not really, but Hydrock should definitely be good. Let's take a look at Kai the Eradicator, who is my favorite monster. Design-wise, he's just incredible. To Kai, what is corrupted cannot be fixed, and so it is better burned to the ground. Okay, mixed feelings right now. That's the concept of justice that the Eradicator has. The purifying fire of his sword will extinguish all evil in the world. So, I don't know, he's clearly not bad, right? He's clearly not evil. That last sentence, the purifying fire of his sword will extinguish all evil in the world. So he's against evil. The problem with this monster is, his idea of punishment is to burn it to the ground, to get rid of it completely. That's his own misguided ideal of justice. So he wouldn't take bad guys in prison or anything, he would just kill them on the spot, just burn them to death. So I can see why he's Evil Legion. It's kind of a funny thing because he himself in his own mind is going up against evil monsters, but the way he handles it, his idea of justice, his misguided view of justice, makes him evil. So I kind of see the argument for him, but at the same time, I don't know, it's just hard to believe that Kai is evil. It's hard to believe that Scar, Kai, Hydrogue, Zyla, Nox the Condemned, all these monsters are evil, all these VIP monsters are evil. Social Point is giving us evil monsters, what the heck. Anyways, I did notice one thing, I'm in Evil Legions, and how is it that Barbatos is not on Evil Legions? Barbatos is the definition of evil. How is he not in the evil category? That makes no sense. Barbatos is the monsterification of wickedness. That sentence says it all. He rules thirsty legions of demons. Demons are not good, but being in the front line of battle is what he enjoys the most. Even though he has a whole army to command, he enjoys being in the front. He's even willing to hurt himself in order to harm others. Anyone who's willing to take harm to harm others, he belongs in the evil book of all monsters. He definitely belongs there instead of TAIGA. That doesn't make any sense to me. And furthermore, how about Lily? Why isn't she in the evil category? Nocta maybe? Like, there's so many monsters, you can just look in the dark element and be like, shouldn't this monster be in the evil category? He looks evil, his description is evil. But anyways, because this video is getting a little long, I'm just gonna end it there. Why is Barbatos not in the Evil Legion category, and why is TAIGA in the Evil Legion category? Why is Hydrogue in the Evil Legion category? Why are so many monsters appear to be misplaced? I don't know if this is intentional or if it's a mistake, but whatever, it's a lot of fun doing this video. I'm actually going to stop it here because like I said, it's getting pretty long, so I'll do a part 2 for the remaining 2 books, which are the new books. And so I really want to hear your guys' opinion. What monsters do you think should be added into the Evil Legion? What monsters do you think need to be replaced or removed? Maybe you guys disagree with me and you think everyone should belong there. I don't know, whatever's going on through your mind, let me know in the comments below. With that being said, I'm Ermysenigma. Like always, remember to dream big and pursue your passions.